Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. I want to talk about why 2020 is definitely the highest potential year for silver to explode. It's like a ticking time bomb and everything is heading into this year. I'm not trying to be a silver pumper. I'm not trying to give misinterpretations, false hope, or mislead my audience. This is real stuff that's actually happening behind the scenes, and it is valid to compare to why prices could be rising sooner than later. The year 2020 brings a lot of anticipation in the world of precious metals. One, because the 2020 presidential election is happening, which every 4 years silver seems to spike because of this. It's a safe haven investment. Anytime there's a lot of controversy, a lot of chaos, a lot of unease, unsettling things happening in the economy and the society, people drive towards precious metals. And the 2020 presidential election is definitely one of those that's going to, regardless of the outcome, is going to push prices higher. This is where silver is. This is what pushes prices higher. It's really what it capitalizes off of, is situations like this. Not only is the 2020 presidential election happening, though, we also see this pattern. Let's go back to 2011 when silver was $50. Not even 10 years ago, silver was $50. In 2011, what was happening? There was a big buildup to precious metals prices. I mean, starting all through the 2000s, Y2K, recession, stock market volatility, and then boom. Same thing is happening now. We've seen the recession looming, stock market volatility, things are getting crazy in the atmosphere, but it's even higher, more. It's put it like this: things are to a much higher degree of seriousness than they were in 2011. In 2011, it kind of caught people off guard. People weren't as bullish as they were for prices to be, especially hitting $50 back then. I remember reading a lot of articles from that era, and a lot of people thought silver was going to keep going higher, but it did catch them off guard to some degree. It's not like nowadays where it's almost obvious that silver is a ticking time bomb. So the degree that silver could explode is even more realistic, but also it's much more unpredictable, and to what degree it goes to is really it's up to the markets. Now obviously there is some manipulating, there is some people controlling the numbers behind the scenes, but they can't to a degree that's that large. I mean, there's politics behind it, there's the central banks, there's there's the companies, there's the investors like you and I, but also the natural flow. Now, when I'm mentioning companies, industrial demand, we've seen big business corporations actually paying premiums for silver right now, which is unheard of. That does not happen. That means that right now they know that silver is sacred, that silver is quote unquote precious, and they need it. And they're willing to pay the premiums, which before they never would have. That's something that is unheard of for industrial demand to be putting premiums on silver, and they're still paying it just like it's for spot or whatever the case is. And that shows me that they know that silver is scarce. They know that silver demand, or its supply, is diminishing right before our eyes. Miners are definitely focusing more on other metals, lead, zinc, and gold, because they're more profitable. And as silver stays down, especially since it's still in the $17 range, that's a huge red light indicator that they're not focusing on silver at all. So the supply is diminishing, but pretty soon the demand is going to be booming. And that is a huge factor. That's a huge issue that we have, because we need to be able to produce, give out this good, this highly used, highly valuable, highly sought after metal that's used for so many things. It's used for basically everything in the world, from laptops to dental alloys to cell phones to space equipment to solar panels to medical paint, because it purifies water. It's used for everything. So they're not producing this good, this metal that's highly used. The demand is going to be at all-time highs, especially once silver starts picking up the pace. Once prices start rising, Then this gains momentum. People are writing articles about it, YouTube videos, the news is going to be talking about it. And it's not only just about the media covering it, the industrial side, they need it as well, and they need it more than ever, because for us to get our gadgets, for us to watch our watch our videos on these laptops or cell phones, or get the newest iPhone that comes out, silver is a major player inside of this stuff to be produced. So the industrial side of it needs it more than ever, especially since we're going into the technological era that we're advancing in. So with that said, once this demand is booming to this rate that I'm talking about, which we're starting to see the first signs of, then what happens when the supply can't meet the demand? That's going to push prices even higher. The producers will be turning into the consumers, and the consumers will be turning into the producers. You and I, the ones that own the silver, we're going to be the ones being able to sell it at whatever said price is that someone's willing to pay. And then that's really why we stack, is because we see the opportunity, we see the potential, we see where silver prices could be held at because of all these instances, because of all these reasons. And then once that actually happens, we, the ones that have been stacking it over time for very cheap because it's so undervalued, are going to have an opportunity, have a chance to then sell it to the people that actually need it. Because we don't need silver. We are stacking silver. We want it. But the industrial side of it, they need it, which means they're willing to pay any price because we need our gadgets. They need to still be, not only keeping the dollar per cost low, but they're willing to go to any lengths to still make the newest iPhone. That's money. That's a billion-dollar business right there. Maybe even trillion. So thinking about that, thinking with that mind state, once this happens, where do you think prices are going to be headed? It's almost obvious. Low supply, high demand shoots the price up, but also given all the circumstances at play right now. And not only that, just to throw on top of that, we also have the US-China trade wars, which they're going to start using the technology as part of ransom to this extent as well, which is also going to play a huge part in the industrial demand. Not only that, we also have stock markets, which are setting record highs, but that's going to fall, which is going to drive more money into it, which is going to push demand even higher. But this safe haven side of it, once things in the economy start stirring up, once these riots start happening around, the U.S. presidential election, it's going to cause a lot of controversy. It's going to scare a lot of people. A lot of people turn towards precious metals for safe haven investments on that end as well. Hong Kong protests are getting more serious. People are getting killed. So it's not even just in the US or China. This is a global thing that's happening. And from a global demand to fit a global supply, once the last 7 years we've been cutting back production, we have a lot of catching up to do. And it's not something that we can fix. We're basically SOL. There's no way that they can find a solution to the supply being that low compared to a demand which will be that high on a global level. If we're talking a national level, then maybe it's possible, but over the last 7 years, we've been cutting back silver production. So this is something that is not going to be able to fix itself. It's not just going to blow over with the wind. That's why 2020 is definitely going to be the biggest year for silver, which has the most potential. When I was reading that article in 2011, those articles in 2011, when they were talking about silver, everyone thought silver price was going to keep going higher. They didn't know why, but they just all were very, very bullish. And a lot of people didn't even capitalize. You would have thought, if you could look at a graph and look back then, you'd have said, yes, I would have sold silver in 2011 at that point. But most people didn't. And that's why you do have to be careful when silver prices start booming. You have to know when. You have to take the emotional attachment out, and you have to know when it's time to let go. And you don't have to sell all at once. You can sell, portions at a time. Have an emergency stash, have an idea on which coins are going to be sold first, or which type of silver are going to be sold first, and also where. That stuff is important. You don't want to spend all this time, money, and energy investing into something and then sell yourself short later on. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely think 2020 is going to be a very, very interesting, highly anticipated year for precious metals, for all the different different things that I've mentioned in this video below. I'm curious what you guys think. Where do you guys think prices could be headed in this next year? It's going to be very interesting. I'm definitely going to be covering it every single day on this channel. That's a great reason why you should subscribe, because if you are curious on a day-to-day basis what's going on in the world of precious metals, I am your guy. This is your channel for tuning into. So make sure you guys do that, because it will highly reflect and affect the way you stack your precious metals, whether you're buying, selling, or trading. So anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you smash the like button. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.